All right, praise be to the Most High. We got all this beautiful forestry and water behind us. I don't know if you can see that nice babbling brook there.
Might be able to hear it better than see it.
You can probably hear it. It's a lot better than my air conditioner, I'm sure. But we're back outside. Job, I was inside because I was using all the 5 translations, so I was like not carrying them around outside.
Where are you at in Job?
Finished Job. We're doing Psalms 7, 8, and 9.
I love Psalms.
And Acts 9, Acts 18.
Psalm 7.
Yeah, Psalm 7. All right. And then gonna pray.
Yeah.
John's using his phone. I got the scriptures. Father God, we know that you made all this beautiful land for us to enjoy. The rocks, the stream, the grass, the trees, the leaves. Give us your words to speak today, Father. Let us follow Yeshua as Hamashiach. We keep our eyes on him. In Yeshua's name. Amen.
Thank you, God. It's great that we have this time together to be able to read scriptures. Like, you keep doing this. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I never expected to be reading scripture on video, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for it too. Not only do we get to kind of chronicle our lives and as we grow in Yah, but teaching people.
Mm-hmm.
So, very blessed for that. Okay. You want to read?
Yeah, sure.
7.
Oh, Yahweh, my Elohim,
Wow.
and you.
Play the camera picks it up.
Oh.
Like just like imagine that you're talking into the end of the phone.
All right. Oh, Yahweh, my Elohim, in you I have taken refuge. Save me from all my pursuers and deliver me, lest they tear my throat like a lion, rending in pieces with no one to deliver. O Yahweh, my Elohim, if I have done this, if there is unrighteousness in my hands, if I have done evil to him who was at peace with me, or if I have plundered my enemy without cause, let my enemy pursue me and overtake my being, and trample my life to the ground, and lay my esteem in the dust. Selah. Arise, O Yahweh, in your displeasure. Lift up yourself against the rage of my adversaries, and awake for me. You shall command judgment, and let the congregation of the peoples gather about you, and over them return on high. Yahweh judges the peoples. Judge me, O Yahweh, according to righteousness, and according to my integrity within me. Please let the evil of the wrong be ended, and establish the righteous. For the righteous Elohim is a trier of hearts and kidneys. My shield is upon Elohim, who saves the upright in heart. Elohim is a righteous judge, and El is enraged every day, if one does not repent. He sharpens his sword, he bends his bow, and makes it ready. And he has prepared himself the instruments of death. He makes his arrows hot for the pursuers. See who are bound with wickedness, and has conceived trouble, and brought forth falsehood. He has made a pit and dug it, and falls into the ditch he made. His trouble turns back on his own head, and his wrongdoing comes down on the top of his head. I give thanks to Yahweh, according to his righteousness, and praise the name of Yahweh Most High.
Okay. So I usually sing. This I've been doing a sing the Psalms
Interesting.
as well, and maybe we'll do that a little bit later. Because I don't know, you a good singer? You sing at all?
I mean,
You want to try singing it?
not really.
I don't. It's not as much the park as it is like I just have not gotten the rhythm down, and it's like, oh, man, like I just keep coming back to it. Can you give me the rhythm, y'all? Oh, it just always comes out like Heidi Doodah.
Well,
Oh Yahuwah, my Elohim. Yeah, no. And you
we'll just read it.
Yeah, we'll just read it. Got officially rebuked by a brother. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. O Yahweh, my Elohim, in you I have taken refuge. Save me from all my pursuers and deliver me, lest they tear at my throat like a lion, rending in pieces with no one to deliver. So, we know the beast from Daniel and Revelation as the lion. There is a verse where it says the Lion of Judah, which I'm going to point you to. Just kind of give the references as they come to me. Actually, there's many references about the lion.
The Lion of the tribe of Judah.
Yeah. Genesis 49:9. Yehuda is a lion's cub. From the prey you have gone up, my son. He bowed down, he crouched like a lion, and like a lion who does rouse him. The scepter shall not turn aside from Yehuda, nor an inscriber from his feet, until Shiloh comes, and to him is the obedience of peoples. I'm not sure what that word Shiloh means, but I don't remember them ever being a character. We're going to read another one about... there's one in Hosea that I'm going to go to. Just briefly, for the example of the lion, but more importantly, Hosea 5:14. For I am like a lion to Ephraim and like a young lion to the house of Yehuda. I myself tear them and go. I take them away and there is no one to deliver. But then I also want to go through Ezekiel. There's a whole chapter about the lion. Oh, 19. And take up a lamentation for the leaders of Yisrael, and you shall say, what a lioness was your mother among the lions. She lay down among the lions, in the midst of the young lions she reared her cubs. And she brought up one of her cubs, and he became a young lion, and he learned to tear the prey, he devoured men. Then nations heard of him. He was caught in their pit, and they brought him with chains to the land of Mitzrayim. When she saw, as she waited, that her expectancy was lost, she took another of her cubs and made him a young lion. And he went out among the lions and became a young lion. And he learned to tear the prey. He devoured men. And he knew their widows and laid waste their cities. And the land of all who filled it was stunned by the noise of his roaring. Then nations set against him from the provinces of every side, and spread their net over him. He was caught in their pit. And they put him in a cage in chains and brought him to the sovereign of Babel. They brought him in nets, so his roar was no longer heard on the mountains of Israel. Your mother was like a vine in your vineyard, planted by the waters, a bearer of fruit and branching because of many waters. And she had strong rods for scepters of rulers. And her stature was exalted among the thick branches, and was seen in her height with the mass of its branches. But she was uprooted in wrath. She was cast down to the ground, and the east wind dried her fruit. Her strong rods were broken and withered, and fire consumed them. And now she is planted in the wilderness in a dry and thirsty land. And fire went out from a rod of her branches. It devoured her fruit, so that she has no strong rod, a scepter to rule. This is a lament, and it shall be a lament. So the example of the lion and the akinness to the akinness to the ferociousness, but also the element of Judah. And then I just want to go to one more, which is Daniel. Daniel, I think it's 3. Daniel 6. That's what I thought it was. Okay. Let's start at 6:13. Then they answered and said before the sovereign, Daniel, who is one of the sons of the exile from Yehuda, pays no heed to you, O sovereign, nor for the interdict that you have signed, but makes his petition 3 times a day. Then the sovereign, when he heard these words, was greatly displeased with himself and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men tumultuously gathered before the sovereign and said to the sovereign, Know, O sovereign, that it is the law of the Medes and the Persians that any interdict or creed which the sovereign establishes is not to be changed. Then the sovereign gave orders, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the den of lions. But the sovereign spoke and said to Daniel, Your Elah, whom you serve continually, he himself delivers you. And a stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den. And the sovereign sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his great men, that the situation concerning Daniel might not be changed. And the sovereign went to his place and spent the night fasting, and no entertainment was brought before him, and his sleep fled from him. Then the sovereign rose up very early in the morning and hurried to the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he called with a grieved voice to Daniel. The sovereign spoke and said to Daniel, Daniel, servant of the living Elah, has your Elah, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions? Then Daniel said to the sovereign, O sovereign, live forever. My Elah has sent his messengers and shut the lion's mouth, and they did not harm me, because I was found innocent before him. And also before you, O sovereign, I have done no harm. Then the sovereign was very glad and gave orders that Daniel be taken up out of the den, and Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no harm was found on him because he trusted in his Elah. So y'all don't care about no lions.
Reminds me of the story of Samson and the lion, where it crossed him and he killed it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Samson kills the
A
lion.
young lion.
And I think that David kills a lion too, doesn't he?
Maybe.
David definitely has a lion.
There was something with honey with Samson with the lion
yeah.
too.
Where is this? This is in Judges.
I think it's in Judges, yeah.
This is in Judges. 11.
Because he's one of the judges, I think, right? He was supposed to be.
Samson is not a judge. Samson, I don't think, is a judge. He's just a Nazarite.
Yeah.
Judges 14:6, and the Spirit of Yahuwah came mightily upon him, and he tore it apart as the tearing apart of a young... Okay, let's start at 5. Then Shimshon, Samson, went down to Timnah with his father and mother, and came to the vineyards of Timnah, and saw a young lion roaring as it met him. And the Spirit of Yahuwah came mightily upon him, and he tore it apart as the tearing apart of a young goat, with naught in his hand. But he did not make it known to his father or his mother what he had done. So yeah, he just bare hand rips rips the lion apart because the Spirit of Yah is on him. He's a Nazarite, so he's a badass.
So there's something about bees, yeah. And he turned aside, and the carcass of the lion, he saw a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion.
Hold on, read it louder.
Yeah, it says at 8, and when he returned later to take her, it's like it came down, I'm gonna go to 7, and he went down and spoke to the woman, and she pleased Shimshon well. And when he turned later to take her, he turned aside and looked at the carcass of the lion and saw a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took some of it in his hands and went along eating. And when he came to his father and mother and gave them, and they ate. But he did not make it known to them that he took the honey out of the carcass of the lion. Interesting.
Yeah, and that's how he goes into the whole riddle, and then he slays 30 men and takes their garments and gives them away. 1 Samuel 17, we read this the other day, 38, and Shaul dressed Dawid with his garments, and he put a bronze helmet on his head and put a coat of armor on him. And Dawid girded his sword over his garments and began to go. But he did not tride them, as in he did not bring them, he did not wear them. Then Dawid said to Shaul, I am not able to go with these, for I have not tried them. So, literally, he hasn't used them before. So Dawid took them off. And he took his staff in his hand, and he chose for himself 5 smooth stones from the wadi, and put them in a shepherd's bag in a pouch which he had. And his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistine. And the Philistine came and began drawing near to David, and the man who bore the shield went before him. And Philistine looked about and saw Dawid. He despised him, for he was a young man and ruddy and of handsome appearance. And the Philistine said to Dawid, am I a dog that you come to me with sticks? And the Philistine cursed Dawid by his mighty one. And the Philistine said to Dawid, come to me, I give your flesh to the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the field. But Dawid said to the Philistine, you come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of the armies of Israel, whom you have reproached. I thought that this said in here, for Yahweh has delivered me from a lion and will deliver me from... Oh, sorry. Let's go up to 34. Then 1 Samuel 17, 34.
You were talking to the king and you said that whole thing.
Yeah, then Dawid said to Shaul, your servant has been tending sheep for his father, and when a lion or a bear came and took a lamb out of the flock, I went out after it, and I struck it and rescued it from its mouth. And when it rose against me, I took hold of it by its beard and struck it and killed it. Your servant has stricken both lion and bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be like one of them, seeing he has reproached the armies of the living Elohim. I think your dog wants to read the word with us.
He was trying to get your attention. He was doing his G.I. Joe.
He does a G.I. Joe.
Yeah, you didn't see him doing it?
No. We should have got it on camera.
We were trying to be discreet.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he can come hop on the table and do a performance. Will he? He's a show dog?
Go ahead. You want to go up? No, not you. There you go.
Hi.
Oh, there he is. Oh, he hopped right on there. What's going on?
Whoa.
Wow, he's all wet, and he just stepped on the word.
Come on. Okay.
Hi. You've been swimming in the creek, huh?
See, be careful what you wish for.
I guess so. Can you do your G.I. Joe thing, though, since you're going to hand it
Not on
up?
the table. He'll get splinters.
Oh, okay. What is it? What's the thing? He just like...
Yeah, he's been doing it since he was a baby.
Okay.
It must feel good.
Oh, he rubs his face?
No, like he pulls himself along, like maybe 6 feet with his front legs.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
G.I. Joe.
I never watched G.I.
Alright.
Joe. I was just too young for it.
Yeah, just like a soldier, you
Okay.
know, in the dirt. With
Oh, like army crawling.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he does it in on nice grass, cool grass.
Okay.
He does it in snow. He does it.
Hi.
He even did it after he was neutered. I didn't think he would. I was like, oh my goodness gracious, that must not feel good, but he thought it was good. No,
Maybe
you
he
can
was,
go up here, too.
My dog does a face plow, so he just like plows the
Oh.
side of it. He just pushes himself with his back legs, and he'll just run across the ground with his face on the side of the ground. Just
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We'll get diggity off. Okay. Come on, you. Let's go.
All right, bub.
Come in.
Time to go.
Time to go. The men are busy. They're reading. Come on.
Come on.
he's on camera.
Let's
Go.
Come on. Good boy.
All right,
Have a good day, man.
Step right on the Bible.
Stepped right on the Bible.
Oh man.
That's okay. This Bible's got rained on, and it's got some. This Bible's got some use in it.
Yeah.
But that is another example of. Elohim's deliverance from lions.
Yeah.
Like that. Easy for Yah.
You grabbed it by the beard and killed it.
Yes. He grabbed it by the beard and killed it. Okay. So. We're in verse 3. 20 minutes. We made it 3 verses. Yeah. Oh, my Elohim. Oh, Yahuwah, my Elohim, if I have done this, if there is unrighteousness in my hands, if I have done evil to him who was at peace with me, or have plundered my enemy without cause, let my enemy pursue me and overtake my being, and trample my life to the ground, and lay my esteem in the dust. Selah. Apparently Selah is like a pause.
Yeah, that's what I've read it as. And some people
And-
say it's Selah. I don't know. It seems
Yeah.
like a pause and then you just go on to the next. Because a lot of this is music. Like a lot
Yeah.
of these are Psalms of David, right?
Yeah, and that's, once I found that out, I was like, that's why I
You gotta sing it.
started singing, yeah. Yeah, maybe we can see if there's a singer here. See if there's one. Look like singers.
No.
You sing?
Gonna have them come over here and sing.
Sing,
You're a
yeah.
wild man.
Yeah. You have said it, you've heard it said that
There's a lot of verses too that David talks about how Yah came over him and he like was able to leap over walls and like do like basically superhuman feats. And that's what I think is definitely with faith and the outpouring of, the Ruach HaKodesh is something that is actually possible even this day. I think it's lack of faith that people don't a lot of times have these experiences,
Matthew 5:43, you heard it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those cursing you, and do good to those hating you, and pray for those insulting you and persecuting you, so that you become sons of your Father in the heavens. But he makes his sun rise on the wicked and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous. If you love those loving you, what reward have you? Are the tax collectors not doing the same too? And if you greet your brothers only, what do you do more than others? Are the tax collectors not doing so too? Therefore, be perfect as your Father in the heavens is perfect. Yeah, let's go see if I sign. They're not singers. Can confirm.
So you just went over there and asked them if they were singers?
Okay. Trample my life to the ground and lay my esteem in the dust. Selah. Arise, O Yahuwah, in your displeasure. I lift yourself up against the rage of my adversaries, and awake for me. Lift yourself up against the rage of my adversaries, and awake for me. You shall command judgment. And let the congregation of the peoples gather about you, and over them return on high. We know from Exodus 15. 3, Yahuwah is a man of battle. Yahuwah is his name. He has cast Pharaoh's chariots and his army into the sea, and his chosen officers are drowned in the sea of reed. The depths covered them. They went down to the bottom like a stone. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, has become great in power. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, has crushed the enemy. So Yahuwah's right hand has crushed the enemy. He separated the sea, let the Israelites through, and then closed it back over the people of Pharaoh. After slaughtering the firstborns of the Pharaoh's sons and all the sons of Egypt. And then we know 2 Chronicles 20. We reference that all the time of when that was actually the one that we read together.
2 Chronicles 20.
Yeah, it was the one where the children of Ammon, 23, then the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir to destroy and annihilate them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, they helped to destroy one another. And when Yehuda came at the lookout in the wilderness, they looked toward the army and saw their dead bodies lying on the ground, and none had escaped. So we know that Yahuwah fights the battles for Israel, as long as they're in subservience to him, you know. So Yahuwah judges the people. Judge me, O Yahuwah, according to my righteousness, and according to my integrity within me. Please let the evil of the wrong be ended, and establish the righteous. For the righteous Elohim is a trier of hearts and kidneys. My shield is upon Elohim. We know those hearts and kidneys. You cook the Exodus Passover lamb with the inward parts intact. Exodus 12. (9) Do not eat it raw nor boiled at all with water, but roast it in fire, its head with its legs and its inward parts. That's how Yahuwah judges us, the inward parts. My shield is upon Elohim, who saves the upright in heart. Elohim is a righteous judge, and El is enraged every day. If one does not repent, he sharpens his sword, he bends his bow and makes it ready. And he has prospered for himself instruments of death. He makes his arrows hot for pursuers. See, he who is bound with wickedness and has conceived trouble and brought forth falsehood, he has made a pit and dug it out, and falls into the ditch he made. His trouble turns back upon his own head, and his wrongdoing comes down on the top of his head. I give thanks to Yahuwah according to his righteousness, and praise the name of the Most High. Sword, bows, arrows. He has prepared himself instruments of death. And he's prepared to use them. You want to read 8?
No, we can read 8.
Loud. Loud. Scream it. Scream it.
O Yahuwah,
People over there.
our Master, how excellent is your name in all the earth. You who set your splendor above the heavens, out of the mouth of babes and infants, you have founded strength because of your adversaries, to put the end to the enemy and the avenger. For I see your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have established. What is man that you remember him, and the son of man that you visit him? Yet you have made him a little less than Elohim, and have crowned him with esteem and splendor. You have made him rule over the works of your hands, and put all under his feet. All sheep and oxen, and also the beasts of the field, the birds of the heavens, and the fish of the sea, passing through the paths of the sea. O Yahuwah, our Master, how excellent is your name in all the earth.
O Yahuwah, our Master, how excellent is your name in all the earth. Starts and ends, the beginning and the end. Out of the mouth of babes and infants you have founded strength because of your adversaries, to put an end to enemy and avenger. I know that it's in Revelation twice, but I thought that it was in somewhere else. thought that it was in a prophecy book.
Which part?
Basically just where he says, I'm the Aleph and the Tav.
The beginning and the end.
Yeah. Because I
That's
just like
definitely
the...
Revelation.
It's in Galatians. It's in
No, Revelation.
Yeah, Revelation. I found it in Revelation, but I just didn't want to use that because it's like, it's in there, but contextual. I just was looking for like an Old Testament.
That says it.
Yeah, because I think that the context here, like, shows that he has been excellent from the beginning and will be excellent in the end in all the earth. And I know this is only one psalm that like it starts and ends like that, but I like, and they are songs, you know, so like oftentimes songs will start and end the same way, but I like that this one starts with this and ends with this. You know, it's not very common.
Revelations 1:8 is the one that says beginning and the end.
Yeah, 1:8, 21 something.
And there's 22:12 also.
22:12. It's in a lot of Revelation. But
It seems like it's mostly in Revelation, but
yeah. And the beginning and end, the first and the last.
there's one in Moses. Let's see.
That's a Mormon book.
I'm like, what is that book?
Yeah, there is no Moses book. If somebody tells you to read the book of Moses,
That's
don't
a Mormon.
read the
That's
book.
actually a Mormon
It's
book.
actually a
Interesting.
Mormon book, and I know that because I have a Mormon friend who I was discussing scripture with the other day.
Interesting.
And he provided proof text based on the book of Moses. And I was like, dude, I can't use that. Like, what am I going to do with this? Like, I'm reading it.
Have you actually read it?
The Book of Mormon?
No, Moses.
No.
I haven't read any of those books.
No, I haven't. No. I won't. Like, I picked it up, and I had a guy in North Carolina. He gave me 4 Bibles, and then he also gave me 4 Books of Mormon. And I like got rid of the Books of Mormon. Sorry, Gary, but you know, I just was like, I'm not like they just didn't feel right to read.
Yeah.
You know, like this is I read like Enoch because no religion like I mean the Ethiopian Christians recognize Enoch,
Oh, yeah.
but that's the only one. Jews don't recognize.
I know.
Nobody else recognizes Enoch, who was a Genesis character
And walked
know?
with God, and God took him.
Yeah,
So, like, why aren't we reading about Enoch?
I don't.
And the other part is the interesting part is the other parts in the Bible actually quote from the book of Enoch,
Yeah, and
but the book of Enoch's not there.
and the book of Jude quotes from Jubilee, and
Yeah.
then Jasher is also quoted in the
I've
book.
read
So
both of those. Yeah.
when there's references like that within the Canaan, there's credence given to these books as
Absolutely.
much as there is credence given to the Canaan. But I'm not gonna like there. Do not add to or take away from the word. There will be no other prophets until my coming. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's not saying like you can't prophesy. You know, you can, but there's no Muhammad. There's no Joseph Smith. There's no what's the name? Ellen
there's
Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen White.
Ellen White. He was
I was raised Seventh-day Adventist.
Seventh-day Adventist who has a prophetess. O Yahuwah, our master, how excellent is your name in all the earth. You who set your splendor above the heavens. Out of the mouth of babes and infants, you have founded strength. Because of your adversaries, to put an end to enemy and avenger. For I see your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have established. What is man that you remember him, and the son of man that you visit him? This is lowercase son of man. What is man that you remember him? It's just kind of cool because it's like, you're so great. And this is, you know, we just finished Job, and his big thing, Yah's big thing is, who is this who darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Now gird up your loins like a man, and I ask you, and you answer me. 38, 2 and 3. And, you know, Job is kind of griping at his circumstance, but he does say, you know, that he would be remembered by Elohim. 23:6, would he contend with me in great power? No, but he would pay attention to me. There the upright might reason with him, and I would go safe forever from my judge. So safe from the judge. The judge will rule, and it will be safety for him. And this is, you know, this is one of his more controversial chapters of Job speaking, but he also says in 29:2, "Oh, that I were in months past, as in the days when Eloah protected me." So, what is man that you remember him? I shall, what is it? Jeremiah 30. Remember my covenant.
Well, it says it several different places about remembering the covenant, but even after the ark had landed.
Oh yeah,
He renewed his covenant then.
that's a perfect example of that. Let's go to that, because we don't touch on Noah too often.
It's Exodus, right? Or is that Genesis?
It's Genesis 8:1. And Elohim remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the cattle that were with him in the ark, and Elohim made a wind to pass over the earth, and the water subsided. Yahweh always remembers. My covenant with Jacob, one of the ones that I'm looking for. And I wanted to say that it had Jeremiah 30, the word that came to Yirmiyahu from Yahweh, saying, "Thus spoke Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, saying, Write in a book for yourself all the words that I have spoken to you. For look, the days are coming, declares Yahweh, when I shall turn back the captivity of my people, Yisrael and Yehudah, declares Yahweh, and I shall bring them back to the land that I have gave to their fathers, and let them possess it. And these are the words Yahweh spoke concerning Israel and Yehudah. For this is what Yahweh said, We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. And ask now, and see if a man is giving birth. How do I see every man with his hands on his loins like a woman in labor, and all faces turn pale? Oh, for great is that day, and there is none like it. And it is the time of Jacob's distress, and he shall be saved out of it. And it shall be in that day, declares Yahweh of hosts, that I break his yoke from your neck, and tear off your bonds, and strangers no more enslave them. And they shall serve Yahweh their Elohim, and Dawid their sovereign, whom I raise up for them. And you do not fear, O Jacob, my servant, declares Yahweh, nor be discouraged, O Israel. For look, I am saving you from afar, and your seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and have rest, and be at ease, with no one to trouble him. For I am with you, declares Yahweh, to save you. Though I make a complete end of all nations where I scattered you, yet I do not make a complete end of you, but I shall reprove you in judgment, and by no means leave you unpunished. For thus said Yahweh, your breach is incurable, your wound is grievous. No one pleads your cause to bind up, there are no healing medicines for you. All those loving you have forgotten you, and they do not seek you. For I struck you as an enemy strikes, with cruel chastisement, because your crookedness is great, your sins have increased. Why do you cry about your breach? Your pain is incurable. Because of your many crookednesses, because your sins have increased, I have done this to you. However, all those who devour you shall be devoured, and all your adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And those who exploit you shall be exploited, and all who prey upon you I shall make a prey. For I restore health to you, and heal you of your wounds, declares Yahweh. For they have called you an outcast, saying, This is Sion, no one is seeking her. Thus said Yahweh, See, I turn back the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have compassion on his dwelling places. And the city shall be built upon its own mound, and the palace stand on its right place. And out of them shall arise thanksgiving, and the voice of those who are laughing. And I shall increase them, and they shall not diminish. And I shall esteem them, and they shall not be small. And his children shall be as before, and his congregation shall be established before me. And I shall punish all who oppress them. And his prince shall be from him, and his ruler shall come from among him. And I shall bring him near, and he shall approach me. For who is this who pledged his heart to approach me, declares Yahweh. And you shall be my people, and I shall be your Elohim. See, the storm of Yahweh shall go forth in a rage, a whirling storm. It bursts upon the head of the wrong. The burning displeasure of Yahweh shall not turn back until he has done and established the purpose of his heart. In the latter days you shall understand it. For I see your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have established. We know that from Genesis 1. What is man that you remember him, and the son of man that you visit him? Yet you have made, I will also, I'm not going to read it to you, but I will also say to see Ezekiel 18. What do you mean when you use this proverb concerning the land of Israel, saying, the fathers have eaten sour grapes and the children's teeth are blunted? As I live, declares the Master Yahweh, you shall no longer use this proverb in Israel. See, all beings are mine. The beings of the Father as well as the being of the Son is mine. The being that is sinning shall die. But if a man is righteous, he shall do right ruling and righteousness. If he has not eaten on the mountains, nor lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, nor defiled his neighbor's wife, nor come near a woman to her uncleanness, if he does not oppress anyone, does return to his debtor his pledge, does not commit robbery, does give his bread to the hungry, and covers the naked with a garment, if he does not lend on interest or take increase, turns back his hand from unrighteousness, executes right ruling and truth between man and man, and if he walks in my laws, and he has guarded my right rulings and truth, he is righteous, he shall certainly live, declares the Master Yahweh. But if he has brought forth a son who is a robber, or a shredder of blood, or does any of these, whereas he himself did not do any of these, that also he has eaten on the mountains, or defiled his neighbor's wife, if he oppressed the poor and needy, has committed robberies, he does not return a pledge, has lifted up his eyes to idols, or did abomination, if he has lent on interest or taken increase, shall he live? He shall not live. If he has done any of these abominations, he shall certainly die. His blood is upon him. And so, basically, the father shall not, if we go to 19, and you said, why should the son not bear the crookedness of the father, but the son has done right ruling and righteousness, he has guarded all my laws, and he does them, he shall certainly live. So, the son shall not die for the sins of the father. Yet you have made him a little less than Elohim, and have crowned him with esteem and splendor. A little less than Elohim. Yeah. Lest he become like us and eat of the tree of life and live forever. Genesis 3:22. See, like the man, and Yahweh Elohim said, see, the man has become like one of us, to know good and evil, and now, lest he put out his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. So Yahweh Elohim sent him out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. And he drove the man out, and he placed cherubim at the east of the Garden of Eden, and a flaming sword which turned every way to guard the way of the tree of life. And have crowned him with esteem and splendor. You have made him rule over the works of your hands. You have put all under his feet, all sheep and oxen, and also the beasts of the field, the birds of the heavens, and the fish of the sea, passing through the paths of the sea. O Yahweh, our master, how excellent is your name in all the earth. You have put all under his feet, all sheep and oxen, beasts of the fields, birds of the heavens. Why are we even here? Well, that's a great question. Genesis 1:27, and Elohim created the man in his image. In the image of Elohim he created him. Male and female he created them. And Elohim blessed them, and Elohim said to them, be fruitful and increase and fill the earth and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over all the creeping creatures of the earth. And Elohim said, see, I have given you every plant that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it is for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heaven, and to every creeping creature on the earth in which there is a living being, every green plant is for food. And it came to be so.
It's interesting that back in the earliest part, people were almost designed by God to be eating plants, not meat. And you see that? And then later, after the fall, then people, I guess, chose or something. But because originally the plan was people should eat these, herb-bearing seed plants and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And even Daniel did the same thing. When he was offered the food by the king, he only ate like water and vegetables, basically.
So
it's interesting.
I have different theories on that, because if you look, he doesn't want to. So yeah, because it says, see, I've given you every plant that yields seed, which is on the face of the earth, and every tree which yields seed, to you it is for food. And so there is no death until
after the fall, I think, right?
After the fall, Elohim makes coats of skin for them to wear. And so that's the first death recorded in the Bible. But if we go to Daniel 1, 11, and Daniel said to the overseer whom the chief of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please try your servants for 10 days, and let them give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance be examined before you, and the appearances of the young men who eat the portion of the sovereign's food, and do with your servants as you see fit. And he listened to them in this matter, and tried them 10 days. All right, let's go back up to 7. And the chief of the eunuchs gave them names, for he called Daniel, Belshazzar, and Hananiah, Shadrach, and Mishael, Meshach, and Azariah, Abednego. But Daniel laid it upon his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the sovereign's food, nor with the wine which he drank. So he asked permission from the chief of the eunuchs not to defile himself. And Elohim granted Daniel's loving commitment and compassion from the chief of the eunuchs. But the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my master and sovereign, who has appointed your food and drink. For why should he see your faces looking worse than the young men who are your age? Then you would make my head guilty before the sovereign. So this isn't a vegan thing. He doesn't want to defile himself with the sovereign's rations. And whether it's because it's unclean food,
Most likely.
or because it's like Abraham doesn't want to take payment from Sodom when he helps save them.
Yeah, when he goes out and brings them all back, he doesn't
Yeah.
want to take payment because he doesn't want to say that sovereign made him rich,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah. And we see Nehemiah, is it Nehemiah or Ezra, do the same thing.
You also see that verse you were just talking about, like with Abraham. There's Melchizedek comes out and he offers sacrifice to Melchizedek,
Yeah.
and it talks about him being the priest of the Most High. And some people believe that it was like actually like an angel, or like I just read multiple different versions of it too, where he offered like part of that to Melchizedek, who was the priest of the Most High.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
that's in Hebrews, which quotes Psalms 110, is that Yeshua is the priest in the order of Melchizedek.
Yeah.
Yahuwah 110:4, Yahuwah has sworn and does not relent. You are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. So yeah. So, what time is it? 4:47. All right, you gonna get going?
Yeah.
We're gonna get going. Finish this later. 9 and Acts 18. Praise Yah.
Yeah, praise God.